Okay, so this is take number 2. All right, we're gonna do this, right?
Yep.
This is Kathy, the hands-on designer. Hi, Floss Tube. Coming at you on a Sunday evening. It's really dark out already, and I'm not liking this one bit. Are you?
Not at all.
But you got to sleep later today.
That was
right?
a good thing.
Okay. All right. Well, obviously, I have my lovely assistant, my wonderful husband with me today, and he's wasn't exactly realizing he was going to be on camera, but you're here.
Here I am.
Okay, there you go. Kind of a short video. I wanted to talk to you about the new for November, the 2 designs that I've been posting all over social media and blogging and I don't know, website, all that kind of good stuff. And I want to show you a little bit about them. The first one is the 5th in the All Around the Holidays series. This is I Hear the Bells. Again, it's got the short stack drum and the flapjack pillow. And I'm showing you the cover because once again, my models are out on a trunk show. They're actually down in the entire series right now with the exception of number 6 is down in Houston right now at the quilt show is there right now. And then of course, Quilt Expo goes on after, or no, Quilt Festival, excuse me, goes on afterwards. That's the retail side of it. So they're down there at a trunk show with the Silver Needle who's vending there. So that starts shipping to shops on Friday. Again, do you want to show it real quick? Show the little, this one, the influence here was really my love of shiny bright ornaments. I would talk to you about my vast collection of shiny brights, but
It's too vast.
my husband's here and he probably doesn't know all of them. Anyway, so again with that one, it comes with the pea pod velveteen from Elegant Stitch, Lady Dot Creates. You can get the chenille trim for the little pillow is called Algae. And then of course the pin set is called Bright and Shiny. And that was specifically made for this piece by Just Another Button Company. But what I really want to talk about is, ta-da, is a year of celebrations. There we go. So a little bit about this one. This was actually in the Cross Stitch and Needlework magazine in 2014. They were all designed in 2013. And when the magazine approached me, they said they wanted them to be kind of small and all to fit into 4x4 frames. Now, if you have the magazines and you see them pictured, yeah, you gotta, here, come on. There you go.
Got it.
If you see them pictured, they're all in different little 4-inch frames. When I got my models back, I didn't get the frames back because those frames were actually not my finish. But I knew this is one of those series that I have just been asked. I probably get at least 1 email a month. Are you ever going to release these? Are you ever going to release these? And the answer is, well, yes, they're coming out now. All in one book, not just 12 in one book. Bill's going to show you the variety as he goes through the months. But I actually did 2 bonus designs. On this particular series, I got a lot of emails from our neighbors to the north in Canada and said, we would love it if American designers would think about us Canadians when you design for certain months, namely July and November. So there you go. I added 2 little optional designs. And let's see, what did I do for November? You already showed. I changed out some of the pumpkins to poppies, and that was for November. So I changed out some of the red poppies are to signify those, or to honor those lost in battle, those military members lost in battle. I did also read somewhere that white poppies can signify the same thing. Also, it signifies peace. So I added the little white poppy in there too. Quite frankly, I felt like I needed a little different color in there, and I was so thrilled to find out that I really, I could use white and it would have also special meaning. So there's August with the ants coming to the picnic. Yep. So as I was kind of putting these back together, a couple things. I wanted a new and unique finish. Okay, there's we'll call it the American version of July. And then I changed out the flag, of course. And as I did a little reading up on Canada Day, I also discovered that they also celebrate Canada Day with fireworks. So I left the fireworks in, changed out obviously to a Canadian flag. Yes, that's my version of a Mountie. I've already had several Canadians say the boots are wrong. Well, sorry. I'm not Canadian. I did my best. But anyway, so you'll see the finishes. You're probably wondering like what all the little, you know, what this is for. And I'll show that to you as we kind of demonstrate. I'm going to do kind of a quick little tutorial on how I did my finish. Because as I pictured these, as the shops have been showing them all over the internet, they're shown on that little clipboard. All right, how many more do we got? February. All right, so that's a quick look at all 12 of them. So I wanted something new and fun to finish. So that's the clipboard, all right. Well, the idea, I love a series where you can change them out, you know, one finish, and then you can change them out each month. You'll notice that the first time I ever did that was with the Year in Chalk, where I came up with this idea for the little board. It's got the Velcro on it. There is a tutorial for this on my website. I was so excited to do this finish. Okay, true story time. I came up with this finish. I painted one and put one ribbon and all kinds of stuff. I was so excited. You came home from work and I said, look, honey, look what I did. And you said,
That's great. How many of those are we going to make?
and I said, well, none. I'm going to do a tutorial and they're going to do them themselves. And you kind of actually laughed.
I know better than that.
Well, we've told the story before, but we probably made about 1,300 of these boards. We opened a sweatshop in our dining room.
It's a 7-step process to get it done.
Yes. So I was made to promise that we would never, ever, ever, ever do this again. So I am not, where's the one? Here we go. I am not going to, unfortunately, make a bunch of these for you. I've been getting emails left and right from stitchers and shops. Where did you buy the clipboard? How do I get do you have the clipboard? Well, here's the thing. I made the clipboard. Yes. Much like I made this, I made this. But I'm going to talk you through the steps of how I made the clipboard right now. I will also be doing a tutorial, a static tutorial, like a blog post on my website with a PDF that you can print out as well so that you can have that for reference. So you don't necessarily have to always watch this video. Anyway, unless you just really like to watch this video. So I'm going to take this off and show you what I did. With each one of these, now when Bill was holding them up, you saw it had a bow on top and then it had this little piece of, it's just a wide piece of like burlap ribbon. And it kind of sits up there fairly tall. Now what I did is I finished each one of these the same size. The design is about a 3-inch square. So I added, usually about a 1/4 inch around, and I flat finished them on mat board with 2 pieces of warm and natural batting. A flat finish tutorial, I have several on my website, so please refer to that. I am not going to repeat the flat finish portion in the tutorial. What I did do, however, then, is I put a piece of double-sided tape before this wool felt got on the back. I put a piece of double-sided tape there. I cut a length of this wide ribbon. You can use any kind of ribbon. I just happen to have this burlappy type ribbon. I thought it coordinated nicely with the linen. This is 32 count Dirty Belfast. And I just thought, you know, I wanted this part to disappear. That's why I used the same color. So then with either, you could do glue, you could do whatever. I used some double-sided tape and I put the white wool felt on the back just to cover up, you know, what I call the ugly side of finishing. So each one of them is finished the same way. And then I found some pretty ribbon. It is really just in there with a pin, a straight pin. I can take this out if I don't like, after a while, if I don't like my ribbon or I find something I like better, I can literally just take that out with a straight pin. All right, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold up each one of these things and then I think we'll stop the camera and I'm gonna actually have you pan down to my hands and show a little bit, just because it's easier, so I don't have to hold everything up. So you'll flat finish all 12, put a piece of kind of your hanging point here, and then you can add this later, or you can add it at the time of your finishing. So you'll do that to all 12. Okay, then some of the supplies that I used. Now, we kind of live in a small town, so we don't have a lot at our access for crafting supplies. So I tend to use, we have basically the big three: Hobby Lobby, Michael's, and Walmart. Sorry, so if you have other places, great. If you don't care for those places, find them other places. This is just what's available to me. So I found these great boards. They come in a pack like this, and there are actually 6 in a pack. And it's in the unpainted wood section in Hobby Lobby, and it's a great aisle. I'm there a lot. We end up there a lot.
Yeah.
And that's what the tag looks like. And again, in the tutorial, I will write all this down. The size of these 6 plywood rectangles is 6 inches by 5 inches. And they're very thin. All right, so you can, here, I'll take one out. Sorry for the crinkle. You know, they're very thin, 5 by 6. All right, so buy a pack, share it with 5 friends. All right, you can see they're very inexpensive, $2.99. This is, I also put an emphasis on easy finish for this one. $2.99. If they're not on sale, use your coupon. Okay, the other thing that I got was, now I don't know, my Hobby Lobby is, we have a new one, believe it or not, but their Tim Holtz section is really kind of getting smaller. And so I do know that there are some shops online and brick and mortar shops that are carrying the Tim Holtz products, and a few have said that they do carry these. Now, this is, they come 2 to a pack. This is a clipboard clip. You want to hold that? All right, at the bottom, mine measures, there's the back of it. This measures 3 inches, okay? That's what, I hope that's not backwards. And it comes with 2 clips. So you can get five friends for the wood, and the one you like the best
Gets a clip.
It gets a clip. So, or do the math and get more, I don't know, whatever. So a couple other supplies you need on hand is, I did paint mine with some little acrylic paint. This is just that kind of paint. You probably have some in a drawer that's hopefully not too dried out. If not, very inexpensive. I used warm white. It doesn't have to be warm white. It can be whatever color you want. And then I also have, gotta shake it every once in a while. This is Americana Decor. I like using a paste wax on top of my finish, and this is actually a cream wax. Those of you who got my once limited kit from Lois, my
Key to my Stitcher's Heart.
yeah, yes, my Stitcher's Heart. Very good.
I'm familiar with these things.
This is what you used for that, and it's kind of a fun little product to use. It's pretty easy to use. So you need that, and you need a couple of these little foam brushes, and a little sanding block. Those are great things to just have on hand. I also, okay, what do you call this?
It's a drill.
It's okay. Well, it's a drill, but it's not like
It's a hand drill.
it's a hand drill. It's been missing from his toolbox for a while because, well, I've had it. So it's one of these, because I ended up drilling a little hole, and you literally just hold it, and to go through the really thin wood, it's, you know, piece
Works
of cake.
pretty quick.
So, so that is kind of handy. If not, an awl and a hammer works too.
That works too.
So, is that everything I think that we need?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Do I need to? Maybe we don't need to demonstrate it that way. So literally, this is what the board looks like. Front and back. You want to hold that? Okay. So you already kind of have an idea of what I did. I took one of these plain boards, and then I like to just squirt, I usually keep paper plates on hand, and I squirt some on a paper plate, and then take my brush and I dab it in that, and then I kind of dry brush it on, meaning I load it up with some paint, and then I push this all around the paper plate to sort of dry it up a little bit. And then I hold it, and yeah, your fingers get painty, but that's part of crafting, you know, I don't know, you gotta get a little dirty. And I just brush it on like that. And I make sure I get the sides. And I really dry brush it so it's a light coat. You should not have to wait long in between the different coats for it to dry. And then I did both sides. I put it down. I walked away. I answered some emails. I took a few minutes. And then I took once it was mostly dry, I mean, if you can pick it up and it just doesn't feel tacky. Yeah. Then I took my
Sanding block.
Thank you, sanding block, and I just kind of went over it, just not a whole lot, but just really to kind of smooth it out, because you know these are not high quality boards we're talking about, so when you get them wet with the paint, the grain does raise a little bit. So I sanded over it, and then I put a second coat of the white paint on, sanded it or painted it both sides, all the edges, let it dry again. I went and answered some more emails, probably called you, figure out what's for dinner, that kind of thing. So then I took this sanding block one last time, and this time I really went over it more. I went, you know, over the flat side, the edges, and then a lot of times when I'm aging something, I'll really give heavy emphasis to the corners. And there really is no right or wrong way to do this, because, yeah, you want to show really close to a corner. Yes.
Similar on that.
Yep. Yep. So you can really see, just kind of gives it that maybe more vintage appeal kind of thing. So, so after I did that and both, you know, sanded it after 2 coats were dry, then I took my cream. Now, if you have a paste wax that you prefer to use that. Some do come stained. This actually has the consistency of very thick paint, really thick, thicker than, you know, thicker than this. And so again, I put a little bit out on another paper plate, got another of these sponges. These are great things to have on hand. And then again, kind of dry brushed, stuck my brush in it, and then blotted it on the paper plate to just really, you know, dry it out a little bit. And then this is where you have to kind of take a little leap of faith and just start really just quickly kind of doing this, and then have some paper towels handy. Because then as soon as you put some off, I actually take a wad of paper towels and kind of actually put some on and take it off. And however much you take off is how light it'll be.
Yeah.
And then if you want it a little bit darker. Now, when I was doing mine, you want to show it, I think the back a little bit. I had some spots that were definitely, a little darker than others. I didn't like the way this side looked, so it automatically became my back. It's just as easy as that. And then actually, if you want to show the front, it's a little more consistent, but still has some spots that are a little more blanched out than others. That's okay, because guess what? You're covering that part. That's how easy this is. There is no right or wrong. So one coat of the cream wax, and then and this color, well, I'll do all the colors when I write it up. And then I just kind of let it sit there and dry. So then it was like, okay, we'll have to include the clip. Now, I will tell you, this was kind of a little process. Originally, the clips have, if you can see, holes right there. You can kind of see through them. All right, and you have to put this on there so that part of it sticks up. And then
I was gonna get one of these.
Oh, yeah, there you go. You wanna put that on there? You have to do it so that I like that little ring on the back, like if you want to hang it on a hook on your wall, that's got to stick up above. And at first I thought, oh, wouldn't it be nice if I could do a push pin through there? Well, honestly, I tried the push pin, I tried a brass tack. I really didn't like the way it looked. Plus the board is so thin that it stuck through the back, and it'd be like picking up a cat with claws every time you moved it. So I got out my handy dandy E6000, and I glued that clip into place. And I was pretty happy with it. If you've ever worked with E6000, you know it holds pretty quickly, but it really takes a good 24 hours to create a nice bond. So I just kind of let it go. The only thing I will say that didn't happen is I wasn't able to get the clip to the part that clamps down on the board to really make a nice tight fit. So with my ribbon here, you'll notice it kind of has a bend to it. So I was going to cut these shorter, but I actually left it long because I then folded it over. So then that went under the clip, and this was now thick enough to kind of grasp under the clip by just having the glue holding it into place. Well, I got to thinking about it more and more, and because I've talked to you that my things travel on trunk shows and whatnot, and they get beat up. They get beat up in the process of moving and being packed and being shown and things like that. Frames get dinged. Pieces go missing, it just happens. So I thought about it, and I thought, well, I really need to be able to attach this clip to the board in a more secure fashion. So I got this idea. I found, I guess they're called brads, okay? So again, I went to, in fact, I think I texted you at the office. I found a picture of one in Google, because I don't have any of these things here, and I texted you the picture at the office and said, do you have any of these? Does anybody use them anymore?
We did not.
Yeah, you didn't. So anyway, but in the scrapbook section. Now, Tim Holtz does make some, and I did buy those, but they're and he might make some that are longer, but they're just really not, oh, thank you. They're just not, the brad length is not long enough. I want to say does this give a measurement? I don't know, it just says pewter round brads. I mean, and quite frankly, even if you did have some in your that junk drawer in your kitchen that we all have, if you had some brads in there and they were brass and they were a little shiny, we were thinking we could even take like permanent marker and cover over them. And because the idea is you want it to match this color. So then once I figured out where I wanted this, okay, now, by the time I did this, mine was actually already attached, and the glue was holding really, really well. But like I said, I wanted better contact here. Then I took my little drill, and I drilled right through that hole, and then there's one on this side. And I drilled enough, and then I actually took a knitting needle, a double-pointed knitting needle, and I stuck it through the hole to kind of, work it around and make the hole a little bit bigger, because this is pretty thin board and it's pretty pliable. And then that's your brad. And then I literally stuck the brad through the hole, through the wood, and then the pieces, where's the one? Where's the board that's done? Oh, here it is, okay. And then the lengths of the brads came out on back, and you see I got a little schmutz there on my, and then you just open it. And then this really helps between the E6000 and then the brads. This really holds that into place. So I think this will stand up to the travel that these sometimes go through. So you've got this fun little board, and you can hang it on a hook on the wall. You can put it in a little easel. You can just lean it. It's a good leaner. And every month, I still fold my little tab over just to help it. And isn't there a commercial where the kid goes, voila, just like that?
And there you have it.
So, now, I did find out in the course of my different conversations, Tim Holtz does make a larger clipboard, one that's already done, and has a clip on it like this. It's bigger. I want to say, I think she said it was like 5 by 7. So here's a thought. If you don't want to, you know, do all this, and really seriously, this took me
Not long.
like less than an hour, even with the waiting time in between coats. You could say if you had a bigger board, now mine are on 32 count, so say if you're going to do 14 count, you're going to want a bigger board anyway. You could also, I just liked the proportion of this one, where I had kind of about the same amount. But if you wanted to, and say your board was taller, you could add some more, you could add some pretty flower picks up there, or a bigger bow, or you know, put something at the bottom even. There's lots of ways around it. So, and in your craft and home decor stores, there's so many clipboards out there right now. I love clipboards. I don't know, I've been kind of crazy for them for a while as far as, you know, finishing. And when I just thought, why can't somebody just make a cute little square board like that? Well, now you can. So, did I miss any of the steps?
No, I think you got it all.
So it's pretty straightforward. 5 by 6. This was, I think these finished about, well, the stitching is 3 by 3. So really like 3.5 by 3.5 by the time it's finished. So very quick, fun little stitches. Now I did talk about the numbers of threads. It takes a lot of different, these are all, the models are all done in hand-dyed threads. Back when I designed these, it was 2013, so it was 5 years ago. Wow. Okay. The thing is I still really like the designs. That's good. And apparently you all do too, so yay, thank you. The magazine, like I said, they approached me and said, we want them all to fit into a 4x4 frame. I wasn't thinking like one color palette. So each month has its own color palette. So as far as hand-dyed threads go, it does call for a lot. Now, in the course of rewriting the chart, I will say, I did kind of take a few of the colors and combine them. Like in one, I think I used General Art Sampler Threads chalk, and the other one I might have used Classic Colorworks Snowball. Well, I made those all one, you know, color, so you weren't buying like 5 different whites and things like that, or 5 different reds for something. So where I could, I made it work. But you know, this is the one thing I was going to tell people is, you know, if you keep the little bits of your floss and you have your little floss systems where you store everything, this is the perfect project. Grab those floss bits out because these are not that big. So it just really, there's no like huge amount of color in any one month. So this is a great way to use up those little bits and bobs that you have, that we save them for someday. Well, now it's someday, right?
Absolutely.
So you done? You over this?
I don't know. Are we done?
I think we're done. Anyway, so now it is fully dark outside. I don't even really know what time it is. I hate this time of year, but it's got to happen, I guess, right?
It'll be all right.
Yeah, it'll be all right. So, well, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me and
Thank you for having me.
holding up all the models and everything. We'll go ahead and get this hopefully posted tomorrow. Give me a couple days to get the tutorial done. Sorry, those take a little bit of time, and I've got to get the shipments all ready to head out to shop. So I'm real excited about the new in November. I have one more release next month. I bet you know what that one is. Chalk fans. Chalk on the Farm fans. Anyway, oops. Anyway, so, all right, we're getting goofy now, sorry, or I'm getting goofy now. So anyway, well, thanks a lot. Enjoy your week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.